welcome to Blue K Jazz Dance. I'm continuing my acts of achievement. I went to Oxford Brookes University for 5 years, and it was part of my continuous personal development as an artist. I had no qualifications in arts management, administration, or business management, but I've been involved in business management, arts management, and administration since '81. Arts management is the business of business, okay? But I've been involved in retail as a person, created numerous projects myself to develop my own leading myself, managing myself, and developing others if people got that. Oxford Brookes, I got an amazing course, Business Innovation Enterprise. It was to be a 4-year course as an individual to underpin my past academic study and underpin vocational experiences to do a business plan. I didn't go there to do a dissertation. So this was the uniqueness, and it was top secret. Nobody knew, because when you do a business plan, it's private. And so what happened, I knew when I went there, continuous personal development has been part of my life as an artist, constantly, if not every weekend as an artist, or every few months, you're always going on some form of new training that keeps you up to date in what's happening. Now, storytelling was big in business and commerce, as well as the arts world. People are now getting funding to do their own one-man show, and I've been doing that for a while. I was going back to university. Part of my business plan was to do a one-man show. So this course came up, amazing course, and one of my acts of achievements, I keep archive material of the things that I'm involved in. So this is a project that happened, Hill Farm, Withington, Oxfordshire, 8-session course, the art of storytelling, gain confidence in the art of spinning a good yarn. This 8-session course looks at the importance of myth and folklore in the modern life and gives you the skills you need to entertain any audience. So what happened was, I was good at presentations, and how I made money in Oxford was I trained a lot of people to do presentations. Yeah, and I've been doing that for a long while. And I had done that for small businesses, people in small businesses, individuals who had to go for auditions, they had to do interviews, they had to do presentations. I was the one to help them to do them sort of type of things as artists already before I went to Oxford Brookes University. But I wanted to do it now as as established business, not just as an independent artist. And new things were coming in. Now, the importance of myth and folklore, one of the key things was West Indians were viewed as a people who don't have no myth and folklore. When you meet Africans, when you meet Chinese, you know about their folklore, don't you? When you look at Europe, we know about the Aztec folklore and myth. We know about the Vikings myths. So people didn't know. As a person, I'm aware of our myths and folklore. And I developed my own storytelling style from the age of 8 years old. So what happened, courses like this is what I went on as an individual. And it was important for me to develop my skills in the university and every event. So what happened was, I didn't only do this. I went on assertive courses. I went on there was a whole host of different type of short courses, reading, improving your reading, improving your writing, improving your assertiveness, stress management. For 5 years, every course I could get onto, I went onto it as an individual, as well as creating my own projects. I created a project called Student Empowering Students. I realized that arts plays a great role, one of the greatest roles, naturally and organically. The arts and entertainment is a way that dancers or actors were making exchanges. I went into Europe, and dance has been the #1 activity that I exchange my culture with. I was a youth arts worker, a youth cultural exchange person, and what happened was, we went into Europe as a part of a promoter, producer of events within my community, because I was a youth worker, and my youth working was very, very diverse, detached work as an individual, work doing, for example, I did a dance and drugs project, exemplary project I did as an individual. I did a lot of research in context of that. I did regeneration, I did health and well-being, I did a whole host of things. Youth arts worker, my brief to look at creating wealth for the youth club, raising money basically, I was in Bedford when I was a youth art development worker. Basically, the River Festival, every 2 years, my brief was to see how can we make a substantial amount of money by creating something that youth club creates every year for the River Festival. That was one of the greatest jobs I could ever have as an individual. I mean, I say that because what it was, I loved it, because what happened was, it was about young people get an understanding how they can make a change in their community using their talent and skills, their dancing, their singing. So one of the key things, obviously, I came up with a showcase a talent showcase idea as individuals. And I created like a little fair idea. I created some things where we could bring money in different, and it was successful. And it was a pilot, first of all, as individuals. As an individual, what was important was what you have in universities. I came back from the university with a lot of key things, so I'll show you here. One of the key things was training to look at your skills. So one of the key things was it was important for Black and Asian minority artists to be able to sell their skills to an employer if you're an artist. And what skills do artists develop? They develop professionalism, develop communication, team building, problem solving, organizing and planning. And what happened, many people didn't know how to sell these skills. As an artist, I learned the art of selling these skills to organizations within Oxford Brookes. And what happened within Oxford Brookes as an individual, I became a warden, I became student experience supervisor, student experience spokesman for the University Manchester Business School. I came the leading tour guide, tour guide supervisor as an individual for the campus. And all these areas I got commended for my customer service, the way I was, for my diligence, for my commitment to sell Oxford Brookes University. Now, what I should say to individual was what you call the art of storytelling I had, because I learnt the history of Oxford. So when people came to Oxford Brookes, I knew the history of Oxford Brookes. And because my job was to sell Oxford Brookes as a student experience person, as a tour guide, as a supervisor. When people came to reception, sometimes it was sit in reception. I was in the business reception as front desk, and people were sat there. I would talk with them. Say, "Oh, what do you know about Oxford? What have you come to do?" So when people left, I said, "That guy at the front is really, really good. He's a very, very conscientious person. He told me things about Oxford I was unaware of." And the reason I did that, because what happened as an individual, many individuals don't actually do research into the universities that they live, into the cities. This is one of the things where I created Student Parent Students, because students come from different parts of the world and live with each other for 5 years, even 6 years, and don't know anything about each other. The reason that, because they're blinkered. They're blinkered to only want to learn, when they come to Britain, to only want to learn Western ways of doing things. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but they don't bring their cultural way of doing things. Yes, you have societies, the African Caribbean Society, but when I went there, the society, Japanese societies, they only present certain types of things. They don't really present something that's going to break stereotypes, and I say that as an individual. So I'll give you a prime example. In the Asian community and African community, storytelling is huge and dancing is huge. They don't actually bring that into university. In West Indies, dancing is huge. And many people don't bring that into the... I'm talking about traditional dancing as well as the urban dances, show the connections, because I was into... The problem we have, Western society doesn't know the connection between our traditional dance and urban dance. We just present the urban, and even ourselves, not me, but individuals, they forget their traditional dance, but the traditional dance actually influences their actual urban development behind the scenes. So people coming from a Western perspective or Asian perspective to black culture, they only take on the urban side and don't know the traditional, but they know their traditional dancing. So one of the things is like Cuba music, I studied it inside out and I use it as an example. Remember, Cuba has retained African dances that are not in Africa no more. So you have to understand the significance. They can't believe it when they go to Africa and see what Cuba looks like. Amazing Nigerian culture is being encapsulated on the island. Blue K Jazz Dance Out. Take it easy.